GT Racing always produces fireworks, and today the show joins the historic Memorial Day celebration at Connecticut's legendary Lime Rock Park. The track is short, fast, and demanding. Preparation, confidence, and strategy are the keys to success, not just here at the Rock, but in the new Grand American Road Racing Association. It's going to be thunder at the Rock. Welcome to Lime Rock, everybody. This is Memorial Day weekend. This is sports cars at its best on this awesome track. It's the Dodge Dealers Grand Prix here at Lime Rock, the fourth round of the Grand American Road Racing Association's GT Championship. You can see the field ready to go. I'm Greg Creamer along with Dorsey Schrader and David Hobbs. Down in pit lane, we'll have Calvin Fish and John Bisognano. And a number of the players in this field have been in the thrust of this championship for the opening 3 rounds. And certainly such was the case at the most recent round, round 3 at Homestead. In the GTU division, it was that number 66 black and white Porsche of Kevin Buckler, the Racers Group, the GW Motorsports Porsche right there in chase, the yellow and white machine of Darren Lott. Mike Fitzgerald had a battle throughout the race. As it got down near the end, however, just a bit of a break going to GW Motorsports. They were able to take the win. Meanwhile, Terry Borchler and Ron Johnson in the Celine Allen Speed Lab, number 5 BASF GTU, Mr. GTO, Ford were able to take a huge win in the battle in the New American GT Championship, reigned supreme right down to the very end. John Levy and Doug Gove, number 18 and number 09 in a bump right there as Gove trying to sneak underneath Levy. Levy kept it out of the gravel, but for Gove, a right front tire cut down, huge bodywork damage, and John Chevy Levy taking the number 18 to the win in the American GT category, the most recent round at Homestead. We talked about Ron Johnson and Terry Borchler in that new Celine Allen Speed Lab BASF machine. It is in the GTU, the Grand Touring Over division. It's a production-based sports car. It's production-based engines as well, but it's steel brakes, working head, tail, and brake lights. It's a production-based car, but Calvin Fish, it is a race car in the extreme.
Well, it's a very fast race car. It's had the last 2 victories in class, guys, and it also claims the overall pole position here with a scintillating lap put together by Terry Borchler. But Terry, this Celine race car is really a test bed for his street cars, correct?
Yeah, Steve does a lot of work with the street cars, takes a lot of the development from the race car, and it's a good proving grounds. So hopefully it makes better street cars for him.
You've got quite an advantage over the field, Terry. What do you do when you actually get the green flag? What is your strategy this afternoon?
We're going to try and run a pace, get into a rhythm, and just stay out of trouble. Lime, you know Lime Rock pretty well. It's a place where you can get into trouble, get some contact, and we can go from the front to the back pretty quick. So we're going to try to stay out of trouble.
They're going to try and stay clear of traffic out there this afternoon, but if Terry can get a win here this afternoon, it'll be a second here this weekend. He also scored a victory in the Speed Vision GT Challenge win on Saturday, guys.
It was a remarkable drive and just sort of a one-off for him. We're now looking at the number 90 Yokohama Warren Fassings Millennium Motors Porsche in GTU. Take a look at some of the stats for that. Grand Touring Under, factory-built race cars based on a production model, 4-liter max engine displacement, 6-speed tranny, no turbocharging, and again, working headlights, tail lights, and brake lights. But make no mistake about it, these are serious race cars. And in fact, John Bisognano, this car sits on pole.
Well, David Friedman is very happy with his Porsche, but they've had some problems with the car. They blew up a seal on the car just earlier this week. They had to rebuild the engine over last Monday is when it was finished. It was FedEx here to the track, and they've been running with it ever since, but they have the same problem. David, you aren't totally confident with this high oil pressure problem that you've been having for the last 2 weeks.
Right. No, we're not confident at this point. We still had it earlier this morning in the warm-up. And haven't run the car really since then, just at idle. So it's one of those things we're a little unsure here. You know, being on the pole in GTU, it's a little concerning.
Well, if it stays together, he's going to be fast, but I'll tell you, some people are going to give him a lot of competition, and those people are from the BMW teams, and Calvin Fish is with the man with the greatest hopes.
Well, he really does. He's had a lot of success with this type of car. He's over here. He's going to actually be stepping into the car when Rick Fairbanks finishes his stint. But, Billy, these cars seem so strong, but Porsche this year in this category are a tough competitor.
Well, I mean, Porsche designed that new GT3R, which is a rocket ship. It was a great design, great power, great aerodynamics. But here we got their number. I mean, in Phoenix, it's a tight track. We use the handling of the BMW, the Yokohama tires, and this car stops. And that's what you need here, and we'll do the same thing to him here that we did there.
We look forward to watching.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, Calvin Bill Oberlin in practice was incredibly impressive. Now, there's another class that'll be racing. It's the American GT category. The 00 entry is the one we're going to be looking at. And let's take a look at some of the stats here. It's tube frame construction, iron or aluminum V8s, again, no turbocharging, 5-speed transmission, but they're running a spec under tray to keep the cost under control. And, of course, that's very crucial. And John Bizignano, the guy that put this 00 entry on pole, has a lot of laps here at the Rock.
Well, Eric Curran, this is his home circuit. He has had some 40 events here at Lime Rock, and he's won 18 of them. That's a pretty good record. But, Eric, you were saying controlling 700 horsepower around your home circuit, that's a new experience, and it's a difficult one for you.
It sure is. It sure is. It's a much different car than the cars I've driven previously here. But it feels great. It feels great to be at the track that I know, close to home. This is the place that I've learned how to do my driving. It really feels good to be in a new car that works extremely well at my home track. I'm having a good time.
Well, he's going to enjoy it, guys, but he told me in 5th gear he could get wheel spin all the way down the front straightaway. He's got to keep this car under control.
And he's used to that. Dorsey Schrader, Eric Curran, we watched him last year at the runoffs. This guy in the American sedan category was magic.
Yeah, but this car has far more power than anything he's ever been in before. You were talking about that at the beginning, iron block or aluminum block. Aluminum block, 60 pounds lighter. These are NASCAR motors, over 700 horsepower, tons of torque, and getting it to the ground on a stick axle car or a solid rear axle car, awfully hard to do.
And very, very little aerodynamic help, of course, which is all part of the regulation package. I mean, you've got a spoiler on the back, but I mean, these are, you know, pretty exciting cars to watch, and for the All-American GT car to be up there on the front row is pretty amazing.
Well, and also, how about 3 different classes, 20 cars total on the short track, David? Traffic has often played a key role here in this entry. Traffic. Traffic
should be no problem at all this afternoon. I mean, not for us up here.
No.
I see what you mean for them.
On the track.
Oh, yes, it will be a problem down there. There'll be a lot of traffic problems. Traffic could play a big part in this race. Terry Borchler, of course, is going to try and make sure he stays way out of the way of all that traffic.
And one thing, once these the GTU category cars get up to speed, get the momentum going, it's not like they're exactly pokey. I mean, you take a look at some of the times, some of the GTU guys are only a couple seconds off of the fastest cars, so it's not like they're going to be real easy to pass, especially if they're in their own battle.
You've got about 3 or 4 GTU cars who are going to be locked in battle, and they're going to be very difficult to be lapped and overtaken by the fastest cars. They aren't going to want to give up any track position at all.
All right, well, heard the command. The engines are now firing, and the Grand American Road Racing Association's 4th round about to commence here at Lime Rock. When we come back, we'll take a look at the track and show you the starting lineup. Okay, nothing sponsored, right? Are we showing all 3 of the drivers that got their awards in that? Okay. Borchler. Curran.
So this Fitzgerald guy is not as quick as Terry, as Auburn, right?
No,
I wouldn't think
not
so.
by a couple seconds.
Yeah.
So they're going to lose the race on this first stint too then.
Hey, Greg? Neither of the track map or starting grid sponsored, right? So considering we really were clueless of what we're doing, that went okay, guys.
True. You did magnificently.
I mean, we only had 12 mistakes we could make.
Huh? Do we have an honorary starter in this for? Okay. Because I never did mention him in the other one.
You
so
did?
I could hit that. Not the starter. I mentioned the start your engines command, but not the starter. The pace lap's underway here at Lime Rock Park for the Dodge Dealers Grand Prix and David Hobbs. Now that we got it clarified that there's a lot of traffic out on the track that we're going to be worried about, let's take a look at this track. It is very unique and very quick.
7 turns, 6 of them right-handers. The S's there being the only left-hander. Elevation change. You go up the uphill there, and along the top there, West Bend is a very important corner because it's flat. There's no camber to help you at all, but the diving turn is the one. You've got to come off that diving turn with good speed because the only real good spot for overtaking here is into that big bend. It's wide, and it's a good entry for overtaking, but the whole track is very, very bumpy, so it's going to be a rough ride for these guys this afternoon.
And again, with 3 different classes running here, that passing zone into Big Bend could be very, very fraught. Let's take a look at our starting lineup, and it is impressive. Terry Borchler, alone in GTO, but running very hard as they develop that car. 56 seconds flat around here. Outside, Eric Kern in the American GT Ford Mustang he's 2 seconds off of Borchler's time, but very fast in that two-frame machine. Now the second row shows us inside the pole sitter in GTU, and notice he is but a 10th off the American GT car. Next to him is Kevin Buckler, also in the GTU division. Most of them now are going to be GTU from here on. In the third row, it is Mike Schromm, and along with him is Spencer Pompelli. He is driving a GTU Porsche. Now that one is an RSR. Then in the fourth row, inside, it is Craig Conway, who has been so fast along with Doug Gold in AGT. Next to him will be Fisher in the GTU Porsche. Next up will be Mike Fitzgerald, who along with Darren Law won the third round at Homestead in his GTU Porsche. Next to him will be Rick Fairbanks, who will be teamed with the very fast Bill Oberlin in the BMW. Then it'll be John Lewis and the Keemer in the sixth row, along with Joe Danner. Then next to them will be Chuck Goldsberg in another of the GTU BMWs. And it'll be Frank Sanchez in the American GT Chevrolet Camaro. He's sharing with a very fast Tony Hobby. Then it'll be in GTU Oniglia. And next to him, John Chevy Levy in his American GT Camaro. Next row, row 9, will be the Dodge Viper of Nestle and the American GT Camaro of McNeil. And in the 10th row, developing a problematic right now Porsche GT2 Evo, it will be Cook driving in the GTO division, teamed with Marshall. Now, let's take a look at a very special award that has recently been created courtesy of Informix Software. It's the Way Fast Pole Award. It's $1,000 and a nice trophy in each of the division pole sitters. Terry Borchler, Eric Kern, and Friedman. Terry Borchler very happy with the developments after qualifying. He's going to like that a lot. Here's the field now as they continue to cycle up and getting ready for the start. They're working through the backside of the track here and up and underneath the Informix bridge, and this leads them through that diving turn. And we see the lights are out indeed on the pace car. And Terry Borchler, one would think here, will open up a fairly quick lead, but Eric Kern is going to have some very racy GTU cars close at hand as they get going. Again, a 98-lap race, 150 miles. We're very glad that you're with us here for this live coverage, and watch for the pace car to make its move, and then it should be Terry Borchler taking off, but the GTU battle behind should be fascinating. There's some other developments in the American GT. We are green, and 2 cars in the ground.
Kern's car didn't go. The outside front row car did not take off.
Did not take off at all, and it's still there on the main
crawling. Was trying, as a matter of fact, it's the pit out lane. He's trying to dive into it with all the power in these cars. He may have just snapped something when he went to throttle.
And that, of course, forced some people up onto the grass first there, so let's hope they haven't done any damage to the front supports and the outer trays. They struggled through the X's there that first left hander. Everybody else belt tires at the moment. Attempted to hear a bit low. Not as low as it could have been. Though the forecast really was rain. It's actually been a pretty nice sunny day. A lot of smoke coming at the back of Borchler's car, and I don't think his tires are on.
We just got a report that Curran said it was a broken gas pedal of all things in his car. That's unbelievable. Here's a look at Kevin Buckler in the GTU division. There is Terry Borscheler, who, as we suspected, is quickly opening things up. But let's go back and take a look at that start, because when the 00 car just laid down on the start, it made it interesting for everybody behind us.
Watch right there on the outside, the white car is not going to go. And of course, everybody doing a really good job of missing it, right? Of course, the white one almost flat.
Boy, that was close, wasn't it?
Boy, a broken gas pedal here, unbelievable. But
How frustrating. On the pole for his class and on the front row, and done a very good time. And a guy that's had 18 wins here already.
Let's go down to Calvin Fish. They have to be just terribly frustrated.
Well, they're looking underneath the hood right now. It took a while to get that off. They took all the tape off. They're now going to take the air cleaner box off. Eric, what happened out there?
Like the gas cable or linkage broke. There's no gas pedal at all.
Scary moment for him, guys. The field was right behind him. They were scouting to miss him, but they all did so. No other damage on the car that I can see.
And Calvin, some very, very smart driving by those behind as well, especially the car that got way off in the grass, being very smart and not just coming back on. As a result, Friedman continues now in the red Porsche right there to lead GTU behind the GW Motorsports entry. But look who's running up there now in the 4th spot. That is Conway, who's closed up big time in the early going.
that was a shame for Mr. Quinn there. That's next Tommy Kendall, Jack Roush's race car, so it's not brand new.
We're just watching the battle for the 5th spot with Kevin Buckler in that white and black of the 66 Racer Porsche being chased by Spencer Cornelli and Mike Fitzgerald as they work their way down No Name Straight. We are only 2 of 98 laps in the books, and overall up front it's Terry Borscheler.
Shaking like that? I thought the motor blew up.
Saturday, June 3rd, Sunday, June 4th, there will be an AMA Superbike doubleheader at Road Atlanta. Coverage right here on Speed Vision on Saturday, 3 p.m. Eastern Time, and on Sunday, June 4th, 3 p.m. Eastern Time as well. You can get a double dose of AMA Superbikes coming at you fast and furious from Road Atlanta. Up front, Terry Borscheler in the BASF Home Improvement Celine Allen Speed Lab Mustang is absolutely checking out at Calvin. He's got to do something to keep himself motivated.
Well, he does, but I think the motivation is the big picture, Greg. They're looking at Le Mans, the year 2001. They're really testing drivetrain components on this machine in preparation for an all-new car that will debut about August, September. Then they're going to use the last races of this year's calendar to really prepare for the big one next year. So there's a big picture on Terry Borscheler's mind, and that's Le Mans.
Well, he's as much as said that it really doesn't bother them right now to not have much competition, as they can run whatever pace they need just to continue to do the development on that car. However, for some of the GTU guys, as we're watching, that's a whole different story. That's 81. That's Mike Fitzgerald.
think what's packing these GTU cars up there, I think quite honestly the 09 car at Conway is actually just a little bit slower than them in lap time, but of course when he gets to this big long straight here, he pulls out enough, and then from here on in, those guys pack up right behind him, so I think he's holding the pack up just a little bit, but obviously he isn't going to do that.
You're not going to let him by easy, that's for sure. And meanwhile, you're absolutely right, because Mike Fitzgerald now all over the back of Kevin Buckler. Buckler in the 66 black and white Porsche on the right of your screen. Then it's Fitzgerald in the car right there, that yellow and white one, and pushing very hard to try and find a way by. Now, John Morton, you're talking about a guy with lap experience. That's him right there in that other yellow car. That's the team number 80 GW Motorsport machine. Behind him is the 09 Craig Conway, the American GT Camaro. It is very fast, but Biz, we understand it may be in a little bit of trouble.
Well, right now they think they have a little bit of a problem, something electrical or something fuel. They're not terribly sure which one it is, but the engine's just not pulling the way it was. Now, these guys know what they're doing. They've been very successful with this chassis. It's the first time they've really ventured out for a championship across all the United States, or North America, if you will. Right now they're looking at the information and trying to find out if they have to make a stop, their race will be over.
Well, Biz, they may have another problem as well. Dorsey and David, we were just watching that car, and under braking as it got down near the end of that front straight, that nose was starting to really vibrate and kind of slap off the pavement.
The nose frame itself is going all the way down, and it's hitting on the asphalt. You see a lot of sparks coming out. You see it jumping up and down like that. It's dumping down. Take a look at the 09 car approaching the brake zone now. Right in the center, under the grill. There it starts. All that flapping around there.
Oh, yeah. That nose frame, you can see it shaking right through to the hood.
Yeah,
they got a nasty vibration there.
We haven't watched that. That car, of course, won at Phoenix in round 2. Was in the battle for the lead and the win at Homestead. Then there was contact, and it ended up hitting with that bad tire. But they are right in the hunt, points-wise, team-owner-wise, the whole program. Watch it here. There it is again.
Yeah, it's quite violent shaking, and that, of course, that's all fiberglass are carbon fiber front end, and they don't take a lot of abuse.
It's got to be frustrating, as you pointed out, David, because Kevin Buckler in the black and white Porsche right behind him knows he can run with John Morton. They've done it all season long, and the rest of the GTU field packing up. Even the GTO car behind getting held up right now, and Buckler cannot go up and race with Morton.
But Conway in the 09 car actually just winding Morton in just a little bit. If he can get close enough behind him, he'll zap by him on that straight. More smoke coming out of the 09 car. I don't think that is that front end. I think that looked like exhaust smoke to me.
Well, we'll have to keep an eye on developments with not only the 09 entry. There's a good look at John Morton. A lot of laps here at Lime Rock, and he continues to run second in the GTU division here at Lime Rock. They had problems. His qualifying time. They let him out this morning and said he would run something that's relatively well started. He had a major motor problem. They said, yeah, you can start. Of course, the pain is really good.
I know. So I mean, they've gone dead last,
Yes, sir. Okay. Yeah, that'd be good. We should get a look at that.
Let's see. His best laps are 58.8. His best laps are 58.4.
Galvin with 18.
25.
Oh, watch this guy outside. Watch it.
Welcome back to Lime Rock, and traffic continues to be awfully interesting here as we've got the intra-divisional battle, if you will, between the different categories, and it has kept things interesting. Certainly, there's a look. That is the second GTO. That's a GP2 Porsche Evo Turbo, and because of traffic, it is lapping about a half-second quicker than the car in front. Can't find a way by Mike Fitzgerald in the GTU Porsche right there, and right behind them, you just got a glimpse of the purple hood right there, the number 46, and that is a Viper, and that car has had some immense problems throughout the weekend in terms of practice and sorted that car dead last, is now working its way up into ninth. So a tremendous job happening right now in the number 46 SportsMeet.com EMI Racing Viper, Eric Besley. And when he turns it over, it's to a guy named Stu Hayner.
Exactly. Stu Hayner is also very, very fast. So the 46 Viper, absolutely stunning paint job on that car, and a very stunning performance. Started dead last. He's now up to ninth. His fastest lap was only a couple of tenths slower than the fastest lap set by our leader, Terry Bortolo.
Well, somebody, that's the 21, the ASCO performance entry of Andy Hutchicke and Bobby Odigli, who started running very slowly, and it's bottling up everybody behind, and it has caused a huge change in some of the GTU battling at this point. Now on the front stretch, he already gets, it's still unbelievable what's occurring here.
A huge change.
That GTO car is the fastest of that group from straightaway, but it's not very far corners, and it's got them all clustered up. Nobody can get anything done.
There's 66 Buckler, who finally was able to get by, but Buckler finds himself now. His momentum absolutely killed, and is losing touch with everybody in front. Looks like that's going to sort itself out a little bit. We were talking about the great performance of the number 46 Viper. We expected that same kind of run from the Camaro of John Levy and Cohen, the number 18 American GT car, who won at Homestead, was so fast in qualifying, but had a problem. And Calvin, I guess that car's going behind the wall.
Well, he had gearbox problems in qualifying, Greg. Started from the back. We expected him to make a charge. He came in with overheating problems, and as the car sit here, having retired the car already, and really ruptured the fuel tank. There's a massive fuel leak in pit lane right now, so they're backing the car right up there. You can see kind of trail underneath the car as it backs down here.
That's a tough break, certainly, for John Levy on the heels of that win that threw he and Mike Cohen right back in the points mix, and now it's all done. And we go back to that tremendous battle of GTU, which currently is in the fourth place in GTU. Kevin Butler, right there, that black and white, the Porsche to the right of your screen. Then there's that GTO machine, and there's your number 46 Viper. Well, David, I'll tell you, once he gets on the front straight, if he get running that downhill with that speed, he can be picking out some spots in the area.
Boy, he's going to be winding his way through this group of guys, and as I said earlier, going onto the air. These guys have got a tremendously important battle. There's points at stake, and there's a lot of money at stake, and no one's going to give up track position and track room to let the faster guys through. They're going to work their way through the best they can.
So the Viper heading toward the downhill diving turn, as we are now 14 laps complete of 98. Terry Birchler way out front in GTO, but GTU is fierce.
Big cloud of dust there.
Okay, we're coming back with Race Week. All right, man. If you need to know what happened throughout the week in terms of motorsports, remember Speed Vision News Race Week every Sunday, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time, 8:30 p.m. Pacific Time on Speed Vision. Speed Vision News Race Week, your racing source. Good look there at our overall and GTO race leader. It's Terry Borscheler in the BASF Home Improvement Celine Allen Speed Lab Mustang. He is running incredibly well up front. It's a great drive in a racing car. But John Bizignano, you're with somebody who has got a lot more interest in it than just racing, doesn't he? I'm with the man, and actually we've been set up to do an interview with him, and now they have gone to a setup for the pits. We have some situation out here. They may be bringing it in, guys. Well, that's a look at Steve Saleen, and obviously something developing here. Borscheler working his way up through the chicane right now.
Oh, smoke coming out.
A little bit of smoke again right there.
Been seeing that all the way through there, coming off that corner, through that chicane there. Could be body work. There's a little bit right there again as he heads down the down road. See if he makes a pit stop this lap. Doesn't look like it. Looks like he's going to go on.
Is that a matter of the car just being set up very rich? I mean, it's not like they have to run right on the edge, and they want to get miles and miles and miles on the car.
Actually, I think it's a little tire rub, like David said. It's like a right rear leads on it.
When they're rich, you get that black smoke. This is more blue, which could be tires, and it could be just tires rubbing on bodywork. This is the S's here, the only left-hander here, where these guys are all sighing a sigh of relief. I mean, the forecast was for pretty consistent rain today, and it's been absolutely lovely, except it's just a little bit cool, so it takes some getting heat back into these tires. We've had no cautions yet for these guys to lose the tire temperatures of the ride. This is the uphill, the ride. Now they're going to go right. He's aiming for that pole, the apex. Rounders in the chicane. There's that smoke again. It must be rubbing, don't you think, George?
Yeah, I think that must be what it is.
All right, well, of course, we were talking about some possible problems with the 09 car. Calvin, they're in.
Well, they came in, they had to change the left front tires. Absolutely shredded, but no one was ready. The crew wasn't ready. The road wasn't ready, so it's been a very lengthy stop. I'm sure they've lost a couple of laps here. We'll try and get a word with the driver here. Craig, what caused the puncture, mate? Shredded tire.
I don't know for sure. On the track because I didn't hit anything that I know of.
Did you do enough laps to get driver points? You had to go 25%. Did you get that far?
I don't know yet. We'll have to figure that out.
Okay, well, I think they may have changed drivers too early, guys, so Craig may have to get back in if they're going to score points here today.
Well, I think that's exactly the point. I think they had to go 22 laps, Calvin. Actually, a little bit more than that even, to be able to get those points. So I think Conway may need to be back on board yet. Now, speaking of on board, we're on board with the number 50 Yokohama BMW, Rick Fairbanks, the starting driver in that car, and Bill Oakland is his co-driver. And Fairbanks' job right now, I would suspect, David, is to keep that car right in the hunt, and then they put in the Maestro.
Well, he's certainly keeping in the hunt at the moment. There's the 09 car that just pulled up in the pits. I wonder if that broken front stay had some effect on that tyre going down, because there's obviously something wrong with the bodywork on that 09 car. Is it still shaking like it was before?
Well, it's not.
No, it's not,
The shake's not there.
Maybe the tyre going down was somehow causing that shaking.
Well, vibration in the chassis.
Well, as bad as that was hitting down there, I think my grounded social clearance now, too.
Well, anyway, Doug Gold, who, of course, a very talented driver again. This type of sedan equipment is out there now. Conway, a very, very good excellent pairing. They are on a track. The car they're running right with there is the number 61 entry. And that was a late entry. It's a GTU Porsche 911 RSR, Scott Rungan, Keith Fisher. And that's that yellow and blue machine right in front now of Fairbanks. And right in front of them is Gold.
Sparks on the braking, on the sparks were pitching out, they were shaving off, so most certainly could be a puncture, like David said, off of that. But didn't see it happening that time.
Rick Fairbanks, that team is his, and Genesis Racing as the former Prototype Technology Group cars of Tom Milner's team. And Fairbanks bought it, got a hold of Oberlin, got a hold of Chuck Wolfsboro, and they put together a serious GTU effort. remember is Aaron Mesley has brought the car down into the pits, Biz.
Is in the pits, and Eric is in the car, and he was reporting of drivetrain problems. They have taken off the right rear, and they have climbed underneath the car, trying to find out exactly where the problem is. This car has been apart all weekend long. They've been working well into the night, trying to just make the car finish. They told me earlier, if we could finish, we'd feel like we won this thing. But right now, they've had about a 75-second stop in the pits. Really, their day's over, guys.
That's a tough break. They sure were spectacular after they got those earlier problems solved. There's a look at the number 21 Ascot Performance entry, Bobby Oniglia, behind the wheel. That car was running in the up and pushing on the top 10. Watch the back of the frame of this replay as he's going. Wow, did he clobber that curve?
That's he didn't get a slow down. It's a big curve you turn in there. You're not supposed to hit that. He hit it a ton. Lucky didn't get upside down.
Did a nice job to save it, although we got a lot of debris on track, and it ended up costing him a spot or two. Now, though, it looks like they're back at speed, Dorsey, in that car. Of course, taking a bit to clear those tires.
You got to wonder also if he damaged the wheel. I mean, he hit that curve a ton, and you saw how high the car got him off the ground. So you got to watch now in the next lap or two. He's going to be looking for a puncture possible.
The wheel doesn't look bent, does it? But it's your launch it, and it hasn't damaged any of that bodywork on the front, which is so important for these cars to get some downforce, and doesn't seem to have broken up any of those little winglets or splitters, so a bit lucky there.
Let's go back up front, another look at Terry Borscheler, who is running incredibly consistent laps. His best lap time is a 57.3. He is lapping at a 57.5, 57.6. Take a look at some of the stats. Born in 1966, residence now Phoenix, Arizona. Won the 1998 SCCA World Challenge Championship, and in the same year, the Professional Sports Car Racing Speed Vision Cup. So he's very adept in this category of car. Lime Rock hasn't been real friendly to him in the past, although maybe it's changing because on Saturday he won in a one-off in the World Challenge. But in the past, he's got some stuff left to do here at the Rock.
I've always seemed to run well here. I've been here about 6 years now. But finishing the race has always been a challenge at Lime Rock. You know, you have tracks that you favor and you have tracks that you struggle with. Believe it or not, this is a track that I tend to struggle with as far as finishing races. So I'm really gonna think about the strategy this year and make sure that we've got a real good car at the end. That's gonna be the goal.
Well, John Bizignano, that car's been a real good car all season.
Absolutely, the car's been running great, and Terry's been driving it just superbly. But what they're having problems with is the throttle linkage, and it can't be worse. They can't actually suss out the problem. It's only happening about once every 3 laps, and if there's anything that drives a driver crazy around this track, would be a sticking throttle, which they really don't want to bring him in to fix because they don't know exactly how to fix it. But it's only happening about once every 3 laps. He's in a bad position.
That's interesting to have an intermittent problem like that. What does that do to your psyche as a driver?
Well, it depends where it goes wrong. If it goes wrong at just the wrong time, coming down the downhill, for instance, or trying to turn into West Bend, or trying to get by somebody, or having just pulled past somebody and somebody slows up, it can be obviously very dangerous.
Okay, and now we're watching Borscheler as he continues with the number 50 BMW. They have now gone to the mark where they can make the stop, and John Bizignano looks like Oberlin's ready.
Bill is in the car. It was a very quick stop. Everything went perfectly in this pit. They've been practicing these stops all weekend long, and it really paid off. Watch him go now, guys.
Well, that looks as though you would suspect they'd go down one lap due to the short nature of this track, but Rick Fairbanks doing a superb job, having the car up in the top 10 overall, right in the GTU hunt, and now Oberlin's behind the wheel, and everybody else still is going to have to stop. So great opportunity, Fairbanks doing what he needed to do. And Bill Oberlin, remember, in practice, Oberlin was very, very fast, but Calvin Fish, number 81, who's been running very fast in GTU, is in and out of the pits.
Yeah, they're in. Mike Fitzgerald turned the driving force over to downforce. They got it. Aaron Presley been a little bit faster this weekend. So as soon as they got into their fuel window, they came in, made the change even on the green flag, and they've got Darren back out there. So it should be a real battle there this afternoon in GTU.
Well, it's interesting. Certainly Mike Fitzgerald, a very fast driver, but sometimes one track and one driver style just suits it a little bit better. And to have the ego set aside and be able to do what's best for a team like that, that's why GW Motorsport has had so much success already this season. 28-98 done.
Well, let me find out. I thought Rick came in all fast. No, it was Rick coming in. I thought he looked awful fast coming in. Why don't we go down and do you want me to go down and cover? Calvin's close to the stopping position.
No, they do it in pits, in their pit.
All right.
On this series.
Here he comes. Here he comes. Can you lay it down at all or anything?
Keep an eye on where number 90 is. Does 90 go by him?
80 and 66 just went by, and I didn't catch a 90.
All right, then he shouldn't go down more. Lap-wise.
I'll tell you, that was the fastest pit stop of the weekend.
Yeah, like from Hayes, just so you know, I was down there with the guy with the radar gun. He was borderline on going out of the pits. He nearly got another infraction.
Well, I'll tell you, these guys did the fastest, most organized pit stop of the weekend.
Okay, yeah, let's do it. We are back in Lime Rock, lap 30 now in the books. We are on board with Bill Oberlin as he is really starting to pick the pace up in that Yokohama BMW from Genesis Racing, but all has not gone incredibly well. We talked about Rick Fairbanks and what a brilliant job he did bringing that car in and keeping it in the pace. But as he brought it into the pits, he was too fast. Maybe his only mistake of the weekend, he came in too quick. And as a result, that car was called in for a quick stop and go. So Bill Oberlin had to do it, and here's what it looked like. And Oberlin, when he left the pits, watch, it's insistence he left the pits with. Watch this. This is the stop and go. Watch him leave now. Even the crew members were laughing at this pace.
Yeah, that extra stop and go could be the kiss of death for them because they're already quite a long way down there, a lap down on the leader of the class. And it's going to be a job to get that time back. Look at it going down the inside. The Porsche just a little bit more coming out of West Bend. Fall through the diamond turn. They're going to be able to get down to Big Bend. Yep.
A little bit of a wiggle under braking down there.
He wants his power slide here. Last time around there, it was awesome.
Yeah, he's definitely starting to throw that car around, trying to get the pace here. He just turned his last lap down on that power slide lap was his best one, 15.9. So there's the tail. Got it weirded up the top. There's the tail. What a ball stealing, actually. Paintball games, Yokohama BMW. There's the number 80. Now, of course, that car, John Morton, still behind the wheel, is a lap up, and going right with him is Kevin Butler, right behind him, that black and white racer group car. But neither of them have stopped yet.
There's a Camaro back there that got there pretty well. Very slowly. Looks like maybe he would make a pit stop this lap before they lift him along.
Well, Kevin Butler getting a great look at John Morton.
Good draft here to come down to Big Bend.
Ducks to the inside, and Butler, Morton lets him slide through.
Has to give it room. As the day progresses on, we've had quite a bit of racing here today, and it's getting very dirty offline, so overtaking now is starting to get difficult if you have to go offline to do it.
That's a very good point, David, because this racetrack is so short, it really grinds the tires up, and I saw the same thing. A lot of it really to the outside.
A lot of rolled up rubber, marble, so definitely when you get on them, and sometimes you have to get on to overtake people.
That's back on board here. We were just watching the number 84 American GT Camaro of Andy McNeil and Scott Delaware, but the car right in front there of Oberlin that
Look how quick old Oberlin was through there. Then he made up time in that crucial West Bend, which means that the downhill he made up time as well, but he got bumped just a little bit there. The guy in the blue car in front of him just tapped the brakes there. That was a bit...
Oh, there was a bunch of bodies on a lot of cars.
now this is crucial.
Somebody could have been Oberlin. Something was flying, but those two cars were close together. together, and I don't know whose car lost what.
Oberlin doing everything he can. That blue car is third and overall right now, second in GTO. That is not in class. The red Porsche is in front. It came off of that car.
The deck lid up that canal was completely gone, and that's what I saw. It must have sucked it right off of there.
They must have given the guy following it somewhat of a start.
Yeah, that's a big piece back there to fly up in the air. Now the guy pulls out of the way, lets the two Porsches go through. That's nice of him.
Exactly, McNeil. WorldBestBuy.com, Coma Racing.
You know, you're used to seeing the front end of the things go flying up. I don't think I've seen a deck lid go flying up. Don't know what would have caused that.
I think it's pressurized inside because the whole back window went out with the deck lid.
Yeah, the whole thing blew, so it must have had
building some positive.
This battle right here, guys, this is crucial because Oberlin right there, if he gets underneath and he's doing it, that red Porsche is leading in GTU. Oberlin got a lap back. He's now only one lap down, and the red Porsche, that is Friedman. He's got to stop yet. So Oberlin right there, that could have been a huge pass in this race. And that 07 GTO Porsche is running laps overall about the same speed, but in the twisty stuff, it is frustrating the bejesus out of Oberlin and Friedman in those GTU cars.
Actually, it shows him a lap down, but of course the car hasn't stopped, so it's not really going to be lap down once the car goes into the field because he'll lose that.
So that was a huge move right there. There's Friedman still leading in GTU, but he's going to have to hand off, of course, at some point. He'll be turning that number 90 entry over to Chris Miller, but the switch already done for Oberlin, and Oberlin now trying to find a way. If he can get around that 07 car here and stay in front of him, that'll be a huge buffer. Can't do it here because of the motor. That's one of those GT2 Evo turbos, and a lot of grunt in the motor department. So Bill Oberlin doing what he was brought on board to do, and continuing to do it. We'll be right back here at Lime Rock.
Suspect driver.
Yeah, he is.
Good God.
Get him set. Got too much power.
The other side of the track, trying to
down.
He's now one down.
What?
He was two after the stop and go.
Two laps down.
Because he hasn't cycled through yet. Watch for the dot. Straight back and off. Welcome back to round 4 of the Grand American Motor Racing Association's GT Championship chase. There is an ongoing battle that has been raging for a while. John Morton in the yellow and white G&W Motorsports GTU Porsche. Right behind him, Kevin Buckler in the Racer Group GTU machine. And those two have been going at it. For them, though, the battle is for second in class up front. It's number 90 still, Mike Friedman leading. And they're coming up to put a lap on another of the cars here. But Morton and Buckler have been this close now for a number of laps. Give me a look at the overall standings. All classes combined here in the upper left corner. And right there, Buckler able to skate through and slide by. Behind them is the Team G&W engine number 81 of Darren Law. That car lapped down due to their driver change stop. He was just trying to stay close because number 2 in front had not yet made their pit stops. So some great battling in GTU unfolding right here, although Friedman has a bit of a margin over the rest up front, but a big off.
Wow.
And,
Who's hit the tire wear quite hard?
I think that's the 09 entry of Gold.
Yeah, you see it moving around, and that's good. That car's not going to go anywhere. It's lost
That
completely
car
left
is
rear.
well and truly buried under that tyre barrier. This is going to cause a fairly long, I would say, extended caution period because they're going to have to repair that tyre wall. That is at the bottom of the down.
Yes, it is, Dave. I was about to say, that's a brand new tire wall. They should be very thankful for that because it wasn't there last year. And that is a wreck right there, well over 100 miles per hour. So one
and start to roll, you skip across
He
it.
somehow buried himself
Still got
under the
underneath it,
banding.
yeah.
They're going to have to replace that banding.
So that a serious off. Good thing is Doug Goat moving. He's moving very carefully inside, but you don't want to rush in this type of a situation.
Not making much attempt to get out of there, that's for sure. And of course, you're looking right where the door used to be. Having a word there with the corner workers.
I think he's having a word with the pitch, isn't he?
He's talking on the radio, perhaps, yeah. So it's not the 09 car. You know, there's the 71 American GT entry of Danaher and Mills, the Dura fitted garage entry, has a fairly similar look to it. It could very well be that car. We'll wait to get a definitive answer on that. We will step away for just a moment, and we'll try and get word on that. Come back and update you. We have almost 40 laps done here of 98, so we're closing in on halfway here at Lime Rock. There's your current top 10.
Well, that's what Bill Oldham did not need.
Yeah. Well, except he got around the 90. He passed the 90, so now we can come back around. Hey, Greg, if there's a way to do it, since we don't have a replay of that, if there's a way with the camera up top, say, in the diving turn, to shoot down the diving turn and just have a wide shot so you can see where that car is, that'll give us an idea of we might see something. Okay, 71.
So Danaher, Doug Mills. I don't know if it stopped up there. Yeah. Let me see that now if it could.
Yeah, slow pull, reveal left. See what happens. Yeah. What do we? Oh, board. There's do the driver change. Okay. That's
Ron Johnson.
Right over to Ron Johnson.
Fire.
Fire. I got a fire. Number 5, Terry Portiller has brought the Mustang into the pits. They went for that sticking throttle. Ron Johnson changed, and now they have a fire in the back of the car. They want the driver out of the car immediately. The back end under flame. Way back, we've got fire inside the cabin of the car. They've got extinguishers all over it. Now they went to the engine compartment. They did everything they could to loosen up that throttle cable. They weren't sure that they were doing exactly what was needed, but in about 60 seconds, a long stop under the green. And again, now the pace car comes by. They're going a lap down. They would not have gone a lap down if it wasn't for this fire. Driver back in. They tried to fix the sticking throttle. But my gosh, Terry Borcheller was in the lead. He brought the car in perfectly. Everything was going very smoothly in the stop. They were taking their time to try and fix the throttle, and then this fire erupted in the back of the car. Ron Johnson's in the car now, and they're going to be out just as soon as they can, guys.
Well, Dorsey, we saw the onboard fire extinguisher go off as well. Is there anything left in there in case there's a recurrence of the fire?
No, unfortunately not, and that could have either been set off by Ron Johnson, but I don't think so because it didn't look like he was aware of the fire. It could also have been set off automatically with heat sensors, and I think that's what's happened. We never saw the flame, but obviously we did see the fire extinguisher go off from underneath the bottom of the car. We saw that, so that's now he's riding without any fire suppression system.
And he is at least back on track now. And we're going to watch here because they were a lap up, I believe, so they may still be in a position to be leading, but whatever margin they had certainly is going to have gone away. There's a good look on board at Ron Johnson, as he now has to just get past that. Really got to get his head in the game, doesn't he?
Well, he doesn't have to do anything, really. They're still 2 seconds a lap quicker than anybody else out there, so they can just cruise their way around. He's still win the car.
Well, Terry Borcheller had an amazing opening stint as usual, Biz.
Absolutely amazing. Terry, what a great run. You had a heck of a lead and then this pit stop, but we heard that you were having troubles with the throttle.
Yeah, the throttle stuck a few times.
Where on the circuit? Same spot or just any place it wanted to?
Same spot at the end of the front straightaway here. And it, you know, as always, it's not when you're cruising, it's when you're trying to pass somebody. And it was a little scary. They always tell you if you're a paid guy, you better not crash the car if you have a stuck throttle. So I reached over and hit the ignition switch, and the throttle came back. Thankfully, I didn't have to drive it on the switch. So I just want to thank the Lord Jesus Christ, because he was watching over me for sure, more than one occasion.
What about this car now, the fire in the back end of the car?
Yeah, I don't know where that puts us. We were almost about to lap some of the front runners in some of the other classes. Actually, the second place GTO car, which is Chris Cook and Danny Marshall, G&W Motorsport, we were just about to lap them, and some of the lead GTU cars, and then the yellow came out. So we had a lot of green running, which was good, but I don't know how this is going to work now with the yellow and the fire.
Well, let's go back to the car. They brought it back in again, and they are going to where the fire was. There's probably some damage. I could see the flames. It had the whole back end of the car was engulfed inside with flames. They have reconnected something, and they're doing a very quick stop back on the rear end of the car. They're going to get it out of here again, guys.
All right, Biz, tough break for Terry Borcheller. Remember, he mentioned in his commentary that we heard that sometimes this has been tough on him. Let's look at what happened. This is Ron Johnson during that stop, and watch this. There is, going to watch his big plume here. There comes a quick thinking there as he popped that visor down, and he's watching now, and he's getting the instruction to get out of the car. But boy, what a moment, what a scary moment, and here he goes very quickly. You can see why those quick release wheels do exactly what they do. He got out of that car in a matter of seconds, and that is indeed the whole concept. Boy, what a moment.
That's what you don't want to see from in there, but when your crew guys are telling you get out, you better get out. He did.
So Terry Borcheller is out, Ron Johnson in, but they have indeed given up the lead as the 07 is now leading overall and in GTO. We are yellow, and here's why. There's that diving downhill turn right at the exit where the barrier starts to snug up a little bit is where the incident was, and it is the 71 machine that is now up on the wrecker, and we got a report from the scene from the corner workers who said the driver is out and was fine, just was taking it very easy getting out of the car. So the good news is it's okay. Bad news is that car is in serious hurt.
Oh, we don't have a replay, but notice suspectly that the left rear wheel is missing.
Yeah, coming down the downhill there, left rear wheel comes off, nasty spin, boom, straight in head on, yeah.
The load on that downhill and uphill on the left side is immense, and I mean, maybe it broke an axle or broke something, but the wheel's missing, and he's had a big accident. Lucky he's okay, though. That's good.
As always here at Lime Rock, some superb work by the rescue vehicles. Meanwhile, our GTU leader is in, Cal.
Yes, he is. David Friedman brings the number 90 machine in. He's going to turn it over to Chris Miller. Now, Chris has a long time been a motorsports director for Yokohama Tires. Guess what tires they have on the car? Yokohama's best, no doubt. There's a real tire battle in this category anyway. There's Pirelli, there's Yokohama, and there's Dunlops out there fighting for the win today. But Chris is getting buckled in. They had a 58-lap window for fuel. They were waiting for the 40-lap mark. They got that yellow, which was just perfect. So the leaders in the category have got the strategy down. He should be able to go the rest of the way without adding any fuel.
And interestingly, of course, there is your overall leader, 07, and that is the GTO category car of Chris Cook and Danny Marshall. And it was Cook that started it, so Marshall on board. And that's going to change things up, as now a GTU car is leading overall here at Lime Rock under the yellow, John Morton. Talk about a guy with experience on this track. John Morton is your overall race leader here in GTU. We continue to run under yellow, but we should be coming back to green fairly shortly here at Lime Rock. Down, but he's going to be close up behind him.
Well, one of the different things about racing at Lime Rock Park is a law passed years ago that prohibits racing on Sundays. Now, that seems a little strange, I know, and maybe somewhat un-American, but it stands. So on Sunday, no motor will be fired, no race cars will run. That doesn't mean, however, the fans have nothing to do here. Well, for the children, Lime Rock has installed a brand new Ferris wheel, and on top of that, there's a blow-up slide, there's laser tag, a lot of things around here for the kids to do, but what if you're just a big kid at heart? Well, for the adults, look at this. You have sculptured clay. You could actually have your own car done in clay here, and there's many, many fine pictures done, both of race cars and street cars, as well as photographs. And look at here. I found a picture of me and Ronnie Fellows back in 1995 beating each other up pretty good. And this picture here of Dorsey Schrader on a very bad hair day, but then again, look at Weaver.
That works. Where are they? Big Ben? Not enough time.
Are they pace car lights out?
Hey, Booth.
Yeah, Biz.
Biz here. It was, if you're going to have a fire, it's the best kind of fire you can have. It was overflow from the filling of the tank. So that's all it was, and nothing's loose back there.
Welcome back to Lime Rock, and you see the lights are out on the pace car. We anticipate a green flag this time by. Overall race leader continues to be John Morton. Right behind him, Kevin Buckler. Behind him, Spencer Pumpelli. And then it's Borschler, all on the lead lap behind Borschler, the car that was leading in GTU, the number 90 car now of Chris Miller. And right with them is the 07 entry who made that pit stop. But only a lap back now is Bill Oberlin. And if he can get up and get by the leaders in GTU, that's going to be very interesting.
But he's right at the back of the line at the moment, so his track position at the moment is awesome.
Watch Ron Johnson in Borschler's car, because that's the guy with the top ponies. He's got all the power, and he's going to put it to use on the straightaway. You can get about 5 wide going into turn 1 and see what they do.
The earlier the yellow, for the bigger the horsepower, the better it is. So let's watch here. The Viper brings him in. Now, there's the go. It's a pretty good early yellow. And Morton gets on the throttle. But here comes Buckler. And if Buckler can make it stick, we'll see down in. It's Buckler. Kevin Buckler, your new race leader. Then it's Morton. Then it is the number 81. Now, that's Darren Law, but he's trying to unlap himself. So we would think Darren Law is going to be unbelievably aggressive here in these opening couple of laps here, trying to get first by his teammate number 80 right in front, and then Buckler, the overall leader.
Kevin Buckler made a great start there. He judged that just right. John Morton hung on just a little bit too long, and that pace car pulled up.
Boy, right there, Darren Law took a look at the inside of Morton at the end of No Name into the climbing turn. He didn't quite get it done there, but let's watch, see what kind of run he gets here. They go through West Bend, then into the diving turn, and let's watch him through the diving turn and see if he gives himself a little room to take a real strong run. Buckler's starting to open it up just a little bit here.
Kevin Buckler seems to be quicker than the other guys having got around John Morton. John Morton now under extreme pressure.
Here's a good look at some of the stats on Kevin Buckler. Won his first pro race in '95, the California Grand Prix at the GTU at Sears Point. That's where his team is based. He is quick at other tracks, and this series has been a godsend for the type of team that Buckler runs. An independent without the huge budget, but tremendous pace and speed. And there goes Law. He managed to wedge his way underneath now. And look how quick Oberlin, boy, he was at the very back of that string of cars, Dave. You mentioned it, and he is already fourth in line.
Gee, boy, he has passed a lot of people.
Good Oberlin here now. That's a great look out the back. Climbing up into the chicane. The rest of the pack coming through here, but Oberlin is on a march right now. Oh, and there's Eric Curran. Remember the gentleman who was on the outside of the front row, the American GT pole, broke a throttle cable of some sort at the start. They fixed that car, and he's back out. He's a long way back in the pack, but he is running 13th overall right now, and he's only basically 3 laps of drift, so that team did a great job fixing that throttle cable, getting it back out.
But he's many, many laps down. But look at Bill Oberlin now. He is really catching up with Law in the 81 car.
Well, as we said, in practice, when Oberlin was in the car, he actually lapped about 0.4 of a second faster than the GTU pole. But Rick Fairbanks was the driver who qualified. It's his team, for starters, too. But he wanted to get as much lap as he could. Now here, look at this. Curran and 09. They are on the same lap, and that could become a battle for the lead in American GT.
I almost crashed all the American GTs out of the pit as he got blocked. 09 was over on the Mustang, and saw a lot of sparks when they were hard on the binders and not to have a collision.
You know what? That is a battle for the lead in American GT with the crash by 71. The Durafin car, that is a battle. And watch this here. Curry swinging out, trying to get underneath the goat.
Look at the windshield on the Mustang. It's completely stove in because of the air pressure that's coming off the back of the Camaro. It's bent all the way in there. It's plexiglass, of course.
And that buckling and that vibration starting to show again on the nose of the 09 entry. That hasn't been a comfortable thing for them in the past, but Doug Gold sitting there in the 09 Spirit of Daytona entry has just given up the lead in American GT to Kern. What a great story that would be for Eric Kern.
Absolutely amazing. I mean, I think they lost 2 or 3 laps at the beginning there, but with the long caution and the pit stops, they've managed to pull all those laps back to now the same lap as the 09 car pulling away.
Of course, the other driver,
he did a tremendous qualifying.
Paul Jenkins, also in Chicago, Illinois, the Orion Motorsports Team Chicago Ford Mustang, the ClarityAmerican.com and Convention Bond car. He is also going to be on board in that, and he's no slouch either. But Curran definitely the shoe here, and he knows this track.
I should say that Mustang right there, too. Like I said, from the Tommy Kendall Jack Roush car, that was the old GTO car, and that was a heavily funded car by Ford Motor Company. So it's a very good chassis, no question.
There now is Ron Johnson. He is 3rd overall. He is back in the lead of the GTO division after the stop by the 07 GW Motorsports entry. So that's a big development there, but he's 3rd overall. However, he is on the same lap as the overall leader of the GTO Porsche, Kevin Bucker and John Morton. So if Ron Johnson can really set sail here, it is not beyond the hope in the stretch here that he might be able to regain the overall race lead. We're halfway almost here at Lime Rock. We got another lap yet to be halfway. is not only the speed and the aggression, but the wisdom of a Bill Overland who's been in that situation before. Right?
Bill Overland's matured amazingly in the last 2 or 3 years. I mean, he is a real serious type racer. Very quick. And good thinker. A bit unlucky though sometimes in the BMWs, those prototype cars. He's had a couple of near misses in those, but he's quick.
Although I do remember a couple of years ago in Laguna Seca when he showed up in a car that was raining. It was a lap down in that Riley and Scott BMW. Remember, and he came back from about 2 laps down and won the thing at Laguna. It was remarkable. You know, once Overland got by the Darren Law, he's been staying pretty close to double-zero current. And just a moment ago, after he made that pass, he was trying to get away from Darren Law and stay with Kern. Watch this. As in the twisty bits, this brimmer handles so well right here. Watch.
He did that with Law before he made the pass. You see a bumper dent in the yellow Porsche.
Well, I think Biz and Overland is just trying to let him know that he's there and he's quick.
Definitely trying to let him know both those things. When talking to him earlier, he said, we have the best car for the hour and a half that this race is going to run, or maybe only be 2 hours. He said, why? It's because the diving turn, the BMW handling is absolutely superior to every other make out there in the diving turn. He says, where the Porsches get us is down the straightaway. You saw when he went by the yellow Porsche, he was able to stay out in front of him, not because of the horsepower, but because of the speed that he can carry onto the straightaway. That's being demonstrated by how close he can stay to the 0-0. Again, the BMW, it's handling, not the power.
And I'll tell you, Biz, here's the story. The 2 leaders in overall GTU, 66 Butler and 80 Morton, they still have to stop in front of Overland as well. And what is 3rd and 4th in GTU is Spencer Popelli, and that car still has to stop. Basically, though, it is Miller, the number 90 car, that Overland is now racing with, because that car has stopped, as has Overland and Law, and Overland is lapping almost 2 seconds a lap faster than anybody else out there right now in his class. So this is going to be fascinating to watch it unfold. On board now, we continue to watch Overland, and of course Kevin Buckler. Calvin, I would think that they're trying to figure out some strategy here because they just don't want to give this up.
Well, they're trying yellow. They really hope they get a yellow in about the next 10 laps. There's the minimum requirement for their other driver, of course. He's got to do 25% of this race. So when they get to about lap 70, they're going to have to bring him in. And if it's under green on this very short racetrack, it could cost them the lead.
And Overland right now got a great run on Buckler through the diving turn. This could put him on that lead lap if he can make the pass down to Big Bend. But again, there's the motor. But look at the brakes on the BMW.
Boy, oh boy, he came to that the diving turn then. He was all over Butler. He was so much quicker than them. When they hit the straight, Butler maintained that little gap he had. But boy, oh boy, Overland was all over like an extremely cheap suit right here.
An extremely cheap suit.
Extremely cheap.
See, now for Auburn, he wants to follow the 00 Mustang up there because that's his key. That's the
fastest car on the track at the moment. The 00 Mustang. He's done the 56.9 as his fastest lap of the way so far. Bill Overland at the 57.4 is the 2nd fastest lap out there, including Terry Borson and Ron Johnson in the Saleen Mustang. That is a staggering time from Bill Overland, and a heck of a time from that All-American GT car too.
That's amazing. By the way, the driver of the number 71 Camaro had that big crash at the exit of the diving turn, Doug Mills, is been released from medical. He's fine. Might be a little sore, but otherwise he is just fine. That is indeed good news. Now, we were just watching at the monitor, and sure enough, as Overland came by, he is now on the same lap as the race leader. So there you go. It's just a matter. Now, we're getting a report that on number 5, yep, indeed, looks like the right corner of that hood, Dorsey, might be a little loose.
Well, you saw when they had that in there, they were looking underneath the hood of it. There's 3 pins I saw the guy working on. One in the center, I see it, and 2 on the outside. It looked like the right front one is not fastened. It's lifting a little bit on that right front corner.
Have to keep an eye on that development. The biggest danger there would be down going into Big Bend. We've already saw the rear deck of one of the American GT cars come off, and things weren't quite right.
The good news is there's 2 other fasteners holding it right now.
We'll be able to watch it when it goes over his roof anyway.
Yeah, once it's gone, you have to worry about it.
No, exactly.
It'll be spectacular.
It will be. You'll see it going.
Johnson continues to order his way back, and he is lapping a second a lap quicker than Buckler in the overall race lead, but it is a GTO car after all, and that is what you would expect to see. We are now 57 laps of 98 complete here at Lime Rock.
Well, one of the different things about racing at Lime Rock Park is a law passed years ago that prohibits racing on Sundays. Now, that seems a little strange, I know, and maybe somewhat un-American, but it stands. So on Sunday, no motor will be fired, no race cars will run. That doesn't mean, however, the fans have nothing to do here. Well, for the children, Lime Rock has installed a brand new Ferris wheel, and on top of that, there's a blow-up slide, there's laser tag, a lot of things around here for the kids to do, but what if you're just a big kid at heart? Well, for the adults, look at this. You have sculptured clay. You could actually have your own car done in clay here, and there's many, many fine pictures done, both of race cars and street cars, as well as photographs. And look at here. I found a picture of me and Ronnie Fellows back in 1995 beating each other up pretty good. And this picture here of Dorsey Schrader on a very bad hair day, but then again, look at Weaver.
Isn't that what they call helmet hair?
Well, get the helmet head going there. It starts out like that before the helmet.
Yeah, exactly.
I think that
it looks like when he goes to the office in the morning.
I think the helmet contains
Meanwhile, up at the front, that black and white number 66 Porsche continues to lead overall. But as we talked about, Ron Johnson now is closed within 9 seconds. That's not a class battle. Certainly Buckler in the GTO machine and Johnson in the GTU end. The other way around, actually. Buckler in GTU and Johnson in GTO. Number 81, Darren Law now is trying to take a lap back and get on that same lap as Buckler. And really, if they do that, Buckler's going to have an incredibly quick pit stop turnover to Philip Collin to be able to stand the turn. And that is exactly what he doesn't want to have happen, particularly since certainly we've already seen that Overland has been able to sneak by and get back on that lead lap.
These guys need a caution period, like they need oxygen.
I look back there, I saw Ron Johnson come and watch in the back of the mirror here. Here he'll be coming in this next group of cars.
Watch Ron down the diving turn. There he is.
Here he comes, and that's got a lot of horsepower. Look at this on the exit there.
Oh, Darren Law looked like he showed the nose, and Buckler may have faded a little bit and dropped wide. Meanwhile, here comes Johnson. Third overall is 80, John Morton, but quite a bit back of this group right now. Ron Johnson's last lap of 58.6. And Buckler's last lap of 58.9, so he's chipping away at it. But there are quite a few laps yet to go, well over 30. There is Overland sweeping through, heading into West Bend. Here's 90 now, that's Chris Miller in the car that had led GTU for so long. Then Buckler, then the number 81. And here comes Johnson. Again, that puff of smoke.
Yeah, that right rear of his has been smoking a lot. The right front hood is still loose, but obviously I don't think it's going to come to any sort of problem. But here we go down to the big bend. But look at all that debris on the inside once you get offline.
Well, that's interesting.
Around him.
Well, because Chris Miller had got around 66 Buckler and got himself back in the lead lap, and now Buckler just able to get underneath and put Chris Miller down a lap. And Calvin, that car 66 has got a long time on its tires, but still seems to be working.
Well, it really does, Greg. I mean, when you're getting a lap 60 plus on those tires, those Pirellis, they're doing a remarkable job. You'd expect them to fade at this point, but he's still running strong. They're thinking another 10 laps. They have to come in, get that driver change made. But it's amazing. Darren Law's got branded on his machine, and also Miller. So those Pirellis really doing a great job.
The 07 car there missed the chicane. A lot of dust and debris down there, so I guess he had a bit of an off going into the climbing turn, and then missed the chicane.
And there goes number 81, Darren Law, who's now snuck underneath Chris Miller. And so that, I believe, is that's a change in position. So Law moves up another spot in GTU. That's going to put him up into third. Excuse me, into fourth in that category. It's currently in GTU, Buckler, then Morton. They both have to stop. Then Oberlin and Law and Miller, they already have stopped. So it's going to be very interesting here. So Darren Law doing pretty much what Oberlin is, and that is just trying to stay close. And here's Law now. He has caught number 66.
Well, 66 got pulled badly there by that 61 car and nearly lost that position to the 81, but he managed to just hang in front there. No name straight. That was a close call there. 61 car really bulked him pretty badly.
Of course, Darren Law, as you saw in the profile, won the most recent round at Homestead, Miami, and it's very quick indeed. But Darren Law, they've got fresher tires, a fresher driver, if you will. Buckler, not a problem with endurance, but as Calvin talked about, as good as those Pirellis seem to be in terms of length, they're just got a lot of wear on them, and I think Darren Law is doing the wise thing and just applying as much pressure as he can. Oh, right there, you saw 66 Buckler, big slide midway through Big Bend.
But still able to hold the 81 car at bay in spite of the fact the 81 car got a fresh driver and fresh tyre. So Buckler doing a great job there in the 66 car.
Kevin Buckler, one of the more perhaps underrated drivers, and as we said, this is the type of series that gives him an opportunity to show. The 07 car, who had that moment up in the chicane just a couple laps ago, is in pit lane and is sitting there. That's the Porsche GT2 Evo, the Jennifer Fund entry of Chris Cook and Danny Marshall. And whoops, over in Big Bend, number 25, having a quick spin over there. That's the Broadfoot Press Technical Dimensions Porsche Specialist 968 Turbo of Montgomery and Roadcroft, and then just got it around over there. Apparently the 07 car guys had a flat right rear tire. I don't know if it caused the moment up in the chicane or what the result of it, but then you got to get fixed. Well, now Ron Johnson has closed it up and has moved to within 8 seconds of the overall lead, but it's still Buckler continuing to lead, because even though he's got Darren Law right behind him, that's a great battle, but it's not for position, because if Law goes by, he'll simply gain his lap back and be at the tail end of the lead lap. But that's exactly what he wants to do, because Buckler, your race leader, is yet to pit. 65 of 98 done here at the Rock.
Buckler's going to stop with the...
He's got to turn it over to Collins.
Right.
By 75 laps, right? Yeah,
Yes,
75
right,
laps.
yeah. No, before 75, yeah. They'll turn over like 72. Really 72. Yep, the other BMW.
Yeah, it's Stern.
Ooh, Butler there got a bit of a tail wag.
Look up the inside he goes. Oh, jumps the curve.
Where's Morton?
We are back at Lime Rock Park again for the Dodge Dealers Grand Prix, round 4 of the Grand American Motor Racing Association's GT Championship. Jason, there the second car restrained the Porsche with the jaws look to it. It's Kevin Buckler, the overall race leader. The car in front is Chuck Goldsboro, who is a teammate to Bill Overton in that two-car BMW team. And there is number 5, Ron Johnson. And because of Buckler being bottled up behind Goldsboro, is Buckler finally now is going to be able to get through and go with the maybe is anyone line? Yeah, he's going to be able to, well, not cleanly. Oh, that was very close. But being caught up behind that number 55 BMW has cost Buckler in terms of the overall position. Ron Johnson now 4 seconds back at most. There he is.
Now that he sees him, he'll pick up a little lap time, David. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. That little bit of a carrot out there. They're really close now, so close he can taste them. So he's going to be right on their tails as they go down the front straightaway. He's quick to the climb, the diving turn anyway.
Now the interesting thing, David, we were just talking about in break, is that Buckler, he's got to turn his car over to Philip Collin, his co-driver, sometime before lap 74 or thereabouts. He's at lap 69 already. If he doesn't, not only won't Collin get points, but Buckler won't, because there's a maximum limit as well. So this is going to be interesting to watch. Johnson continues, though, to try and close it up. He's now down to under 3 seconds as he is really putting the pressure on. It's not a battle in class, certainly, but, you know, you're still looking at the up front run here.
You saw the hood flopping around right there. I'll tell you something to watch for. When he gets the nose of this Mustang behind the Porsches, watch what happens, because it will really start shaking.
And a lap back, apparently, an incident between the 00 and 84 American GT entries into the chicane.
00 gets in way too hot, locks up, goes through, misses the curb, so it doesn't do damage. But look, the 84's got to just about stop to avoid the collision he thinks is going to happen.
Well, you know what I think may have happened there is, Biz, I believe they just did a driver change, and the new driver may not have been really up to speed yet.
Well, let's ask Eric Cohen about it. Eric, congratulations again on what a great try. You had to be really frustrated. You were in pole position, and then a problem with the throttle pedal.
Right. Boy, frustrating. Frustrating being in the front of the field and having something like a throttle cable break. You're just stuck in the middle. There's nothing you can do. Don't move the car. Keep the car straight. Make sure that nobody piles in behind you.
Out there a long time, when you came into the pits, you did not change tires.
We didn't change tires. We're just looking for, we went with a harder compound tire. Just trying to go the whole distance on the tires we have. Probably should have conserved the tires a little bit more than I did. Frustrating, again, with the throttle cable. But we're looking to go no tire change and looking to make the whole race on one set of tires.
Now they will do that on one set of tires. If they come in again, guys, the race is really over.
All right, Biz, and our overall leader is in. Calvin is there. Buckler's in, Cal.
Kevin Buckler brings the 66 machine in. He's the overall leader in the leader in GTOs complete. Colin getting behind the wheel now. Looks like a routine stop so far. They're changing all 4 tires. They're putting some very needed Pirelli tires on there. They've really taken these to the limit now with the stint that they did. But what a job by Kevin Buckler. He's never run here before. And as we speak, the number 80 car, the Morton car, is in the pits as well. He did 71 laps. He'd never driven here at Lime Rock. He set a lap in the warm-up this morning, half a second quicker than the pole time. So he is really on a charge. Great job by those guys. Last drops of fuel are going in. Looks like routine so far. I cannot see any problems. Everyone's got their hands in the air. and just putting the window net up. So, be interesting to see if he kept the lead, guys.
All right, and you mentioned Morton is in as well, and Biz is there.
Well, right now it is a routine pit stop, but they're having some trouble with the driver change. The number 80 car has been holding down good positions throughout the whole race. Now they have changed the tires. Again, these Dunlops, it's going to be a real advantage to the driver when he gets out there with the new Dunlops. These look fairly worn, but they certainly were losing time for him. Right now, everything's going smooth down here. We'll talk with John Morton when he gets done helping his driver fit into the car.
All right, Bez, the interesting thing is Bill Oberlin now should be working his way down through the diving turn shortly, and the number 80 car needs to get out here if it's going to stay in the hunt and not lose the position to the 50 car of Oberlin. It's out, and Oberlin down the front chute, so 80 made it, as did the car of Butler, I believe, and there is Oberlin. It's that close right now.
The problem for Philip Collin coming out of the pits is cold tires, although they're brand new. It's going to take a lap to get him up to temperature, and he's a sitting duck for Oberlin, who's quite aggressively coming from behind.
I think Oberlin might have. Did Oberlin get those guys when they were in the pits then?
Well, I don't know if he did. It looks like he may have, and he may have actually almost got a lap and a half up on him. But for Kevin Buckler, an absolutely amazing drive, Calvin.
Kevin, what a performance. You've never seen this place before, never driven here anyway, and you really got it together out there.
Yeah, the guys gave me a great car. You know, for the race, you're always hoping the car's as good as in practice. There's no problems. I was being pushed by all the guys. The other guys and all the other teams were doing a good job, and it was clean. It's a tricky little track, though. You know, the downhill is pretty scary, and the big one up on the top of the hill, too, so.
Saw a yellow with about 58 laps to run. Any thought of coming in then and making the driver change?
We're hoping for another yellow, and the car was still good. The tires weren't gone yet. They were getting kind of squirrely at the end. Darren was pushing me real hard, and I had to come in within the next 10 laps because of our window, so unfortunately we didn't catch a yellow.
Great job by Kevin. Meanwhile, another driver is out of the car, and he's standing by with John Biz.
John Morton, you had a great run out there in the GTU class. Your GT3R was just running fantastically, but the BMW seemed to play with you quite well.
Yeah, this is really more of a BMW track because they're trying to equalize the cars, and on because the Porsche is a newer car, they try to give the older cars an advantage, and I think they gave the BMWs too much of an advantage for Lime Rock.
Where did he have the real advantage on you?
In all the corners and whenever you put the brakes on.
There you go, guys. Again, it's momentum and handling on that BMW. I'll tell you, the brakes don't look bad going down into turn one here either.
Well, as you said, and as we've witnessed, the BMW stopping pretty well. Good look there now at Morton's car as he has now turned it over to his co-driver, that's Mike Schramm. But the news is up front. It's Ron Johnson right there leading overall. Second overall, leading GTU is the paintball and Yokohama BMW of Bill Oberlin. And Darren Law is sitting in third overall, second in GTU. And then Butler, Friedman, and the rest are still back there a little bit. So, but we certainly now, David, have a lot of GTU cars on that same lap, I think. And it's going to be very interesting.
And of course, the Butler car with the new driver, and of course, the same with Morton's car. They got new tires, new set of Yokohamas on one, new set of Dunlops on the other. Oberlin by now has already done close to 40 laps. So getting a little bit on the ragged side now.
I would suspect so. Now, maybe a question to pose here. Oberlin took that car from Rick Fairbanks fairly early. Are there any fuel consumption considerations with that BMW, Darcy or David, where they may need to come in yet, do you think? Or are they good for the rest?
I think they should be good for the rest, even though he stopped pretty early. I think those cars get pretty much good mileage, and I think they got enough capacity they can do it. So, we watch Ron Johnson out there in the lead again. And now we got to worry about his hood thing. Although I think it's okay, like you said, David, it's got two extra pins holding it down. It's just flopping right there in the right corner above the head. I can see it opening up a little bit.
Seems to be okay, doesn't it? That smoke from the right rear would be the most worrying thing. Is that when he was wearing on the inside wall of the tire or something?
Let's go on board as we watch Johnson, the upper left. We'll go on board with him as well and watch him actually working inside the cockpit.
Watch inside the cockpit. When he comes off this corner, you can see it right there. In fact, it's not getting in there, so it must be tire smoke there.
It looks like, I mean, it's that's the only secondary little left-hander on the track, the exit of the chicane. talented people that are the ones that are the pros and do it very fast. We are coming up on about 20 remaining here at the Dodge Dealer Grand Prix.
Possibly being 20 laps.
This is a 24-hour race.
Stay with me, boys.
Nope, we're going now.
That's it.
Big memories for me here at Lime Rock. 1974 IMSA GTU race. I was in second place, right behind the leader. I had him all set up for a great pass, and all of a sudden he makes a big jog to the left, and there right in front of me is the biggest deer I've ever seen. Actually, it was just the biggest deer ever. I tried to make the same jog to miss the deer, and I hit the third place car. I go right through this deer sideways, off the track, right into this tree, right about here. I went from 130 miles an hour to 0 in 3 feet.
All right. Tony Armour. Here on the microphones, giving you the broadcast commentary here. And John Bizignano has a memory of Lime Rock from a few years back.
Big memories for me here at Lime Rock. 1974 IMSA GTU race. I was in second place, right behind the leader. I had him all set up for a great pass, and all of a sudden he makes a big jog to the left, and there right in front of me is the biggest deer I've ever seen. Actually, it was just the biggest deer ever. I tried to make the same jog to miss the deer, and I hit the third place car. I go right through this deer sideways, off the track, right into this tree, right about here. I went from 130 miles an hour to 0 in 3 feet. I busted everything on the right-hand side of my body, and I absorbed 65 G-forces. I was told that my brain went all the way across my skull, past my eye, and then rattled around inside my skull for a while. The most amazing thing about all that is that it had no permanent effect on me whatsoever, especially the brain part.
I'm not too sure that you're right about that last bit.
No, I don't think so. No, too well.
I was going to take a poll, but I think we just did. And obviously, John Bizignano, that
obviously explains it.
Yeah, there you go. We'll leave it at that.
Well, what's he talking about? Think about the deer.
That's not.
Well, not no permanent damage whatsoever.
Well, not mentally maybe, but the rest of them's not doing so good. Meanwhile, that's number 65, and that's Tony Ave right now. And there's some speculation. The corner workers have reported that they might be seeing some intermittent flames from that car.
Well, there's some smoke that just came out of the car, and if it's got an oil leak, it's getting out of the header system or exhaust.
It looks like it's running terribly rich, doesn't it? Tells you that might mean the exhaust is lighting up in the pipe. I mean, it is running real rich.
It could be that, or like I said, yeah, I ain't going to look at a diesel. Really fat on diesel.
That car had some problems early on, and they are in a number of laps now. Frank Sanchez, the Sanchez Motorsports Banana Boat Sun Care car. Tony Ave, the other driver in that machine, and when Ave has been driving it, Sanchez is a very good driver, but Ave, a top flight pro, and he is on that very, very quickly. The problem for them is they had an early problem and are way down the order.
Tony Ave, one of those drivers that, again, life didn't go like it could have done for him. Very quick kid, but just never had the right drives. Every time he gets in the car, he always surprises everybody, but no one never sees him through. So it's a bit of a shame for Tony Ave. But at the moment, I think it's running home. See, Rich, I think that what's happening is the fuel is lighting up in the exhaust pipe. He's also got some grass in the radiator there, which isn't going to affect it too much today
been now, but going very quickly. American GT continues to be the purview right now of Doug Goad. Is having his run right there. They've just stayed with it. There's a good look at number 90. That's Chris Miller. And that car is currently sitting in the 4th spot in the GTU division at this stage of the race. And that right now is Philip Collin right in front of the car that Kevin Butler had that unbelievable opening stint in. And they're down to a good battle here. And that, I believe, is battle for position. If Miller can catch him, they are on the same lap, and the margin now down to well under a second. If he can catch him, that'll be a battle for position. Somebody dropped the
Somebody out there.
Yeah, somebody's been on the outside of Big Ben there. And I just saw the Porsche 66 hit the curb down there and launched itself, so that didn't give him a good exit.
He's obviously feeling the pressure here from Chris Miller. Up into the climbing turn right now. Battle for 3rd in class and 4th overall. It's Ron Johnson leading. Oberlin 2nd and leading in GTU. And Darren Law then 2nd in GTU. Collin 3rd and Miller 4th. That's his battle. Collin and Miller. And then another 40 seconds or so back is Asentado, who was taken over from Spencer Pumphrey, the number 34 in GTU entry. So this is our best battle on the track right now for position. And it looks as though now Phil Collin has been able to get a little bit more breathing room over Chris Miller.
Chris Miller's car stepped out a little bit under the braking right there. This is the time of the race now when everything's pretty warm. You know, brake-wise, they don't make any pad changes, so some of these cars might be experiencing some problems now.
And of course, all that offline debris, the rubber, roll-up rubber, dust, general junk that collects all that dust where people keep putting the wheels over in. It is now collecting big time offline, so these drivers will pick their way through here, make sure they stay on line.
Good look right there, number 84. That's the McNeil DeWare American GT entry, who's had problems with the rear deck and the like. And there's 34. That's the car started by Spencer Pumpelli and now being run by Asentado. That car was right in the mix of the GTU battle for quite a while as well. And although it's an intra-division rivalry here with the GTU and GTO car, they're racing each other pretty tough here. And with that rear deck on that American GT Camaro, is that doing that much to the handling that?
Well, two things could happen with that, Greg. For sure, it's not channeling the air over the roof like it would normally to the rear end, so it's going to lose the rear downforce. Also, the bad news on that is whenever you lose your rear deck lid and you lift off the throttle for a corner, all the exhaust gets sucked back up into the car through an open hole, and you got to breathe all that thing. So he's probably not liking much of the way it smells in there today.
No, not at all. And of course, you do lose quite a bit of downforce too, because as Dorsey says, it's not flowing over the roof right.
It's the WorldBestBuy.com corner racing Chevrolet Camaro. McNeil, Andy McNeil, and Scott DeWare right in front, number 34. That's now Emil Asentado out of Lower Valley, New York, I believe, the North Atlantic Marine. Donzi, that's a Porsche GT3R, although that looks more like an RSR, doesn't it, with that the wing configuration on the back of that car. And here's that battle that's continuing again. 4th overall, 3rd in GTU. That's the last spot on the podium that they are racing for. And Philip Collin and Chris Miller, the second drivers in each of these two cars, have found each other on the track and have refused to be separated. A very solid battle as well. Coming up behind them now is Bill Oberlin. And to give you an idea of Oberlin's progress through the pack, he is coming up now to put them a lap down. So Oberlin's charge has been not only impressive, it has been very dominant since Oberlin got behind the wheel. Calvin, Bill Oberlin's absolutely cruising.
Well, he's doing a great job there. It's a great pit strategy getting Bill right now. Even Genesis Racing are just really pleased with these two cars. They're both ex-Milner cars, PDG Racing, and one is a four-door, that's the one Bill's driving. That car is ABS, which makes it a little bit quicker around this bumpy racetrack than the 50 sister car, but both cars went really well. They got the fingers crossed. Just a handful of laps left now as we count down. And Rick Fairbanks, the owner of the car and co-driver with Bill, is just ecstatic about these cars and how they're running here today.
Well, they have been very, very impressive, and obviously it's a pretty well-sorted package, but a new team takes it over. I think one of the best moves they made probably was being able to arrange with BMW in Europe to get Bill Oberlin behind the wheel with his experience in those cars. That has got to be an opportunity for them to be able to sort those cars a lot quicker than they may have been able to otherwise.
Absolutely, make a huge difference going down
so that could have been some of the battle that was going on. The position that goes on in the lap is going to split them now.
Chris Miller, of course, his car is on the ball in the hands of Dave Friedman for this class, the GTU class. So Bill Oberlin showing them a clean pair of heels now. Oberlin has driven a stunning race. So.
Bill Oberlin, for instance, last lap of 59.6, and Johnson's at a 59.3. So Oberlin able to lap very quickly indeed. Darren Law, though, is the guy who's going quickest in GTU right now. He just lapped at a 58.5. So Darren Law definitely on the prowl here, although he's a ways back of Oberlin at this stage. Oberlin now has gone by Colin and has put now the top. He's lapped everybody essentially except Law in GTU. Watch him as he heads up now into the climbing turn. There is 09. That's your current leader in the American GT division. Doug Goat now behind the wheel of the Spirit of Daytona. That's the Chevrolet Camaro, sponsored by Daytona, Mitsubishi, and Cat Country. And Doug Goat again along with his teammate Craig Conway. Oh, and Colin has looped it over in the chicane.
He didn't loop it long. You saw the blue car there pulling away. That car in some way involved also both of them off. Look at the debris.
Gravel all over the track there, yeah. So, yeah.
I wonder if the 07 car maybe came up, and if Colin was sideways in the middle of the chicane, if that 07 car maybe just drove straight to avoid trying to tiptoe around him.
Could be. You're starting to really see the track deterioration. Now look at all the stuff on the straight over there. You can see bits and pieces of it bouncing out of the car and much over the brake.
So here's number 66, Colin now obviously has, Chris Miller has gone by him and gained that spot, so that should promote Miller up now to third in GTU, fourth overall. And we're getting a report, oh no, number 00. That great, oh, look at that blast. That's just overrunning the exhaust. But it's very spectacular.
Did he miss the chicane again, do you think, and stall it somehow?
That could have. He might have locked up even and killed the motor, stalled the motor. We saw the big huge belts of fire when it refired. So something going on. We saw the gravel up there too. It could be quite slippery like that.
Yeah, look at all that stuff lying around on the main straightaway there. Here goes Bill Oberlin down the inside of the 09.
That's good, yeah. So that's Paul Jenkins in the 00 Ford Mustang having the problem here. Now, in the last lap, of course, we were talking about the incident with number 66. Watch from the back of Oberlin's car. There's the white Porsche coming in, and he just got it wrong all by himself. There goes Chris Miller. Nice piece of defensive driving to get through and pick up that spot without contact. So the 07 car did the smart thing and just straight lined it and tried not to try and avoid him through the chicane. So number 66 now in the hands of Phil Collin has dropped back a spot, but up front, Ron Johnson, 91 laps complete, leads it.
We're in the 90s at last.
Who's stuck in second gear?
We've made the
okay. 00 is stuck in second gear. She's not the gear you're going to be stuck in.
Sure not.
Is that American muscle car?
Oh, something off.
Okay.
Where is he?
Great. Off the air at 5:10. Our leader.
Well, we need to see that.
Boy, I'll say we did. Oh, and the 66 cars damaged too. Bill Oberlin can win this thing yet.
Okay.
That could be bad. He could still win it.
He's only got 6 laps to go now.
Who was it that 66 darted out to try and get by?
Damage to that car too. Well, that car's hurt.
Okay. On board with 5, right? Lime Rock, but things have changed. That is the overall leader, number 5. You can see the damage to the left front corner. Celine's crew frustrated, not happy as they are preparing for a possible pit stop. You see the damage to the right rear corner of the number 66 Porsche that had been running so well in GTU. However, those cars did indeed come together, but there was a third car that was a mitigating factor in that. Let's go on board now with number 5, Ron Johnson, when this happened at real speed. And he's trying to put a lap on the 00 car in front. That's what it happened.
That's a 50 BMW, isn't it? A 55 BMW.
I tell you what, that was an amazing situation that there wasn't a bigger accident. That was on the no-name straightaway, and that could have been huge. Now the question is, will he pit? I wouldn't pit for anything right now. Of course, they could black flag him if he starts losing debris.
And the double, I think, David, that was the 00 Ford Mustang stuck in second gear, and I think it just surprised them both. And Philip Collins suddenly realized, I'm gaining way too quick, moved right, and Johnson just happened to be making a move right then. And you can see it's buckled where that hood was loose before on the number 5 door. See that right front upper part there, it's really starting to buckle down.
But the driver's got to worry about the series of that under tray underneath the right front tire. If it goes underneath the tire, it will stop that tire from being able to turn, and it won't be able to steer real brake. And I've seen that happen a lot of different times.
So Ron Johnson now is fighting what is probably a pretty evil handling car. He's not able to get back and around Colin. And in fact now,
that's the piece I'm talking about.
The Porsche behind him, that's 81, Darren Law. And Darren Law is able to run fast enough now to run with Johnson here.
I think the 21 car put a wheel off the edge at the top of the hill going into the down.
Look at this, here's the smoke off the Mustang.
Yeah, big smoke coming off it now.
Celine on the left front, really rubbing.
Yeah, that bodywork's tough. Darren Law trying to get underneath, and Darren Law has gone by. So this that car definitely wounded.
Well, it's very wounded. It's wounded in several places. Talking to Steve Celine, the builder of these beautiful Celine SRs, he says right now we have got to try and keep him out there. They figure there's only 3 or 4 laps left. The car is heavily damaged all over. The temperatures are going up. I think they're just going to keep running until it dies, guys.
Well, we were just on board as well with Johnson looking backward. We saw a piece of bodywork come off of the number 66 Porsche up in the air as well. Small one at that. But Johnson, obviously, they're going to win GTO. That's not the issue here. But they'd like to stay out and try and claim an overall win. That's a bit of prestige here. But Bill Oberlin is but 30 seconds back. And we've got 2.5 laps to go.
I don't think even Bill Oberlin can catch up 30 seconds in 2.5 laps, unless, of course, that car, more debris flying off the 66 car now, gradually coming undone.
And that smoke out of the front tire, there is the 50 car right now, but that smoke off of Ron Johnson's front tire could be a disaster if it blows that tire.
Well, Oberlin's last lap was 4 seconds faster than Johnson. Now, obviously, that's not going to do it in 2 laps here. But if Johnson keeps the pace up here, and if that piece dislodges, Oberlin is there. I mean, it's going to be that fast here. Darren Law now finds himself, he's still quite a bit back of Oberlin. Going quickly, there's Bill Oberlin running second right now. The margin indeed has come down about 4.5 seconds in 1 lap. There is Johnson as, this time by. He should, though, be picking up the white flag, and we'll be very relieved to see that.
Most of the smoke still seems to be coming from his right rear, doesn't it? The left front doesn't seem to be smoking much now. The debris seems to be falling off, but it seems to be falling away from the car, like you say it does. That gets jammed under the car, under the wheel. Like breaking the big bend, for instance.
There is the white flag, so 1 to go for Ron Johnson. It has got to be one nervous boy inside that cockpit. And Bill Oberlin is flying. There is no question to that. Johnson's last lap, about a 103, as he's now trying to just get back around Darren Law here. And here comes Oberlin. Let's see what the margin has dropped to. 1 lap to go. Oberlin's lap, a 59 flat, and then another 3 seconds, but not going to be enough.
No, it won't happen unless, of course,
right.
He can't make the rest of the corner. Once he gets over the top of the hill, he can make it from there on coasting if they have to. On a flat tire the other way.
Yeah, there we go. Through the chicane now, up into West Bend one last time. And then that diving turn and onto the front straight. He's got enough of a lead. He's obviously going to be able to relax a little bit here. Tiptoe down through the diving turn. And Ron Johnson, wounded Celine Mustang and all, is going to take the win here in round 4 of the Great American Road Racing Championship of the New England Dodge Dealers GT. Great race. There's Now let's go back and take a look at Bill Oberlin's progress, coming from so deep in the GTU pack itself to second overall in the GTU win. Here comes Oberlin. Rick Fairbanks starting the car, doing a brilliant job. And here comes Bill Oberlin right there, taking second overall. The GTU win, and the Genesis Racing team very, very happy. And there's an onboard look at Oberlin as he's on his cool-down lap. And meanwhile, in the American GT division, watch for him. There he is. Doug Go, team with Craig Conway and the Spirit of Daytona Camaro, takes another American GT win, their second of the season. But there's an onboard look at Ron Johnson, and he did what he had to do. And I'll tell you, Biz, when that car got damaged, he stayed very calm, cool, and collected.
Well, so did the management. Steve Saline, congratulations on a great win. I mean, sticking throttle cables, fires, crashes, they couldn't stop you today.
No, that's true. It wasn't a pretty win today, but we certainly have to take my hat off to the team. They've done a good job. The drivers did an excellent job. Obviously, the Saline ran very well for most of the day, and it certainly gave us our share of thrills, though, here. There was enough diversity here to keep it exciting from our standpoint.
They're going to be partying all night long.
That was a great drive by both Borschler and Johnson. Great drives in all of the divisions. And when we come back, we'll visit with our winners. Don't go anywhere. Been even.
They tried really hard to lose that race.
One other car in that class, they wouldn't have.
Yeah, they tried really hard to lose that. 2 segments. What is happening here now?
Hey, what was that? Good job. Can't bring it back with a nose in 10. You know what? You cannot win with a nose. It has to be gone.
Biz with Johnson, Cal with Orton.
Terry and Booth now.
Welcome back to Lime Rock Park, where the New England Dodge Dealers Grand Prix has concluded. And John Bizignano, sometimes winning a race means overcoming obstacles, and boy, did the Saline team.
Well, they overcame everything. Ron Johnson, congratulations on a great victory. First of all, tell us about that fire during the pit stop.
I don't know. We must have just been charmed this week. I mean, came in here for the pit stop, car lit on fire. I had to jump out of the car when they put it out, jump back in, went out, chased down, took the lead again. Just had a little bit at the end, just trying to keep up. But, I'd like to thank BASF and Saline for just making a great car. The crew, the whole Johnson family, thank you very much.
Okay, what about this crash?
We just got a little close to one of the Porsches going down the back, the no-name straight, and just kind of snuck up on me, and I just hit a little bit.
Last couple of laps, how much trouble was there with the car?
It was getting a little bit loose, and it's real hot in the car still. So I think we're going to sit down now and just have a little bit of a break.
Okay, Terry, listen, you took this car out with a lot of problems off to begin with. We were very happy to even make it to your pit stop. You've got to be really happy with an overall win.
Yeah, I'm real pleased with the job that Ron did, too. He really stepped it up and brought it home as a winner, and we're real happy about that. Saline is real happy, too, and the Saline SR, as we said at the beginning of the broadcast, is proving grounds for the street cars, and they've proved a lot. Like you said, we overcame a lot, including the fire. That was pretty exciting.
Now, you won here yesterday in the GT class. You must be just so pleased with this team. Have you ever been with a better organization to make your talents win?
Yeah, it's been real good for me as far as a career. I started with them in the World Challenge in '98 and won a championship the first year. And it's really been good for my career. And the new car that's being built, I'm a part of that program, so I'm excited to be able to have the opportunity.
Congratulations. Calvin Fish, you are with the GTU winner.
Well, they are, but I tell you, Billy Oberlin had his sights on overall victory there the last few laps. You had the sniffer going there on the lead car.
Yeah, we were talking on the radio all the time, and we got to the lead of our class, which was fortunate. I mean, we were a little bit down, He was pushing it so hard, he pushed it in the pits, and we had to do a stop and go. But the car was awesome. The crew did a great job. The Yokohama tires, and this is an older, couple-year-old M3, and it still shows. I told you, it would show the way around the track again. It knows the way to the victory lane here.
It looked like there's some close calls out there as you were forcing your way through traffic. I mean, there was some contact out there. Just part of racing, though, right?
Yeah, it's light stuff. I mean, I didn't push anybody. I would get on the brake and I go, oh, it's just not going to stop. And then just squeeze on them a little bit and move, and it was solid.
Great job, Billy. It's fun to watch. And Rick, you got to be very pleased with the performance of the cars and your co-driver.
He did a great job. BMW's being great. Yokohama tires, as always. We did a super job. I almost screwed it up with our little stop and go there coming in pit lane, but we were pushing, so came around.
Going to see Billy in the car again this year?
Yeah, hopefully mid-Ohio. He's disappeared for a while.
Good job today, guys.
Hey, great job indeed. Rick Fairbanks, let's not take anything away from the job he did. He stayed close where he needed it to be to turn it over to Overland to bring it home. And Terry Borchler, you remember during the race, we played that soundbite where he talked about the Lime Rock had not been a particularly kind place to him. 2 wins in 1 weekend in major events. Maybe he's taken a bit of that back. He could walk out of here with his head held high. Very, very solid weekend indeed. Great racing here, certainly, at Lime Rock. And it's always nice. It's just one of the more scenic places to spend a Memorial Day. And I think everybody has enjoyed what they've seen. We'll be right back.
Well, welcome back to the Victory Circle right here in Lime Rock, and with the American GT, the Detroit muscle cars. You guys brought it home. Craig Conway, tell us about that first entry.
Yeah, we had a little problem. One of the tires went down, so we had to come in early. But we've been working on this car all weekend. We finally got it handling real well.
Doug got it. When you first showed up in Phoenix, you weren't sure if this car was going to do any more races whatsoever. You've got to be pleased with the success so far.
Well, the guys have done just a great job. And Craig and the whole team has really pulled everything together. It's a little more than a shoestring, but not much. It's a real grassroots effort, and the car's running good. Craig got it sorted out. We completely changed the suspension last night before the race. And what can I say? We ran like a champ all day long and came in first. That's all you can ask for.
Congratulations. All those changes worked, guys.
Worked very well, and they too overcame some adversity. Seems to be the story of the weekend. Let's take a look at our unofficial full field results. Borchler and Johnson in the Saleen, GTO, and overall a great job. The drive by Bill Overland, it is something that he is famous for, and perhaps nobody is better, as he claimed the GTU win. And of course, the American GT win, a great drive as well by Doug Goda and Craig Conway, as we take you through the rest of the field. Let's take a look now at points in the Grand American GT division. In GTO, Terry Borschler and Ron Johnson tied by 10 over Montgomery, then Messley and Rodenroff, and they lost some ground, certainly Messley with the problems with the Viper. In GTU, it is going to be quite close indeed. Fitzgerald continues to be out there a little bit, but Buckler and Collin, and then Law and American GT, Conway and Goad. Conway a little bit of an advantage, McNeil, Mills, and Jenkins. So that's how the points stack up. It's going to be very interesting. Now, of course, the 5th round of the championship will be coming up at Mid-Ohio, and that will be aired Sunday, June 18th, 9 p.m. Eastern Time, and that track always produces some very exciting racing as well. For all the information you want on motorsports, www.speedvision.com. Go on the net and get your answers, courtesy of Speedvision. For David Hobbs, for Dorsey Schrader, for Calvin Fish, and for John Bivignano, I am Greg Kramer. Thank you so very much for joining us here, the New England Dodge Dealers Grand Prix Memorial Day weekend at Lime Rock, one of the truly very special weekends of racing in all the world, and a great show has been put on. We look forward to the coverage from Mid-Ohio. Now, speaking of coverage, we take you some bonus programming in progress of American Muscle Car. Goodbye, everybody.
That's another event. Did you give me a pause there? Yeah. For the American Muscle Car thing? Yeah. Pause. Okay, I gotta go back and check that too. I had it. That wasn't a big pause. It was a pause. It was a frame? It was a massive pause. I had it all. The Vice President of Operations is happy with that, so I guess we're all... We're very happy. We're thrilled. We all get to keep our jobs on the deck. Thank you. So, thanks. Even Dave gets to stay for another week or two. Do those well lines so we can make this phone call. Very good show. Very cool. We gotta do the speedvision.com thing right after this, Greg. Alrighty. Hey, David, don't forget your paper. American Lamont. You do wild lines? I do. You don't have to. You're doing it. I said, yeah, but we have to do that phone call thing. Yeah. Okay.